Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nick Hart of the Calder Crush, back to talk to you again. We got something very special for you today with the three nominations for the NHL's Calder Trophy, which is the NHL's Rookie of the Year award. With those nominations fast approaching, everyone's wondering, who are going to be the three guys that get the nod, get to go to Las Vegas in the summer, and be up for the award. Because this was an absolutely stellar year for rookies. There was a countless number of players doing an absolutely fantastic job in their first year of the National Hockey League. A lot of players impressed a lot of people, but after all, only three get a nomination and only one gets his name on the Calder Trophy. Well, to help sort out the confusion, I've taken the honor of ranking the top 30 players, top 30 rookies that are eligible for the Calder Trophy this year, and how I think the vote should play out. Now, keep in mind, the Calder Trophy is voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association, so this should not be taken as a direct indication of how things are going to play out, just merely my opinion, but I think you'll agree. We have 30 whole players on the blog. You can read the power rankings in descending order from 1 through 30 on the blog, but for, the sake of saving time, we're just going to do the top 10, and we're going to go from descending order. So we'll start at you right here. Number 10, the Florida Panthers' Nick Bjugstad. Now, Nick Bjugstad, coming from the University of Minnesota, his first year in the National Hockey League. He's a big kid, 6'6", 218 pounds, but he's not just size. He has a lot of skill to his game, and he showed it off this season. Racked up 38 points, not to a lot of fanfare. Down in Florida, not a lot of people pay attention. The team was low in the standings, and people weren't too worried about him. So Nick Bjugstad kind of had 38 points and flew under the radar, but his performance didn't fly under our radar. We have him as the 10th best rookie from this past National Hockey League season. Number 9, from the Nashville Predators, defenseman Seth Jones. Seth Jones was a guy going into the draft last summer. People thought was competing for the number 1 overall pick with Nathan MacKinnon. Well, Jones ended up falling into the Predators' lap at 4th overall, and he made a big impact right off the start. Defenseman Roman Josi, who's a stalwart on the Predators' blue line, was hurt. Jones had to step up early in his career, eat some quality minutes, and he played exceptionally well when he did. Now then he cooled off a little bit after his hot start to the season. Some nagging injuries slowed him down, and his production in the points department slowed down as well, especially after his minutes cut back when Josi got healthy and the Predators acquired Michael Del Zotto from the New York Rangers. But he definitely played very admirably, played impressive, moved the puck well, still has some learning and some adjustments to do at the National Hockey League level, but Seth Jones is our 9th best rookie from the 2014 NHL campaign. At number 8, the Boston Bruins defenseman Torrey Krug. Torrey Krug made an impact in the playoffs last year for the Bruins after coming up from their AHL Providence Bruins on an emergency injury recall. But this was his first full regular season in the NHL, and what he did is he racked up a ton of points, 40 points, which was among the best among rookie defensemen in the NHL this season. And the problem with Torrey Krug, though, on the other hand, is that he still has a lot of work to do in his own zone. If you want to be a great defenseman, you have to be good at defending. Krug isn't a lost cause, but he just has some work to do. The offense is the forefront of his game. He's a great puck mover, but he still has to complete his game, which is why, even though he had all those points, we have him down at 8. Number 7, the Calgary Flames' Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan is a young kid, only 18 years old, but already shows a ton of leadership. He has an incredible hockey sense, which he showed in juniors at the Ottawa 67s of the Ontario Hockey League and continued to demonstrate at the National Hockey League level with the Flames this season. He scored 22 goals as an 18-year-old as a part of an absolutely awful Calgary Flames team. That team was bad, but Sean Monahan in his first year helped make it a lot better. He accounted for a little over 19% of the Flames' total offense that season. So when you take that into account, this kid was the real deal. But, like I said, this was a great year for rookies. Even a year as well as Sean Monahan had, we have him only down at 7 on the power rankings. Which brings us to number 6. Number 6, the Anaheim Ducks' Hampus Lindholm. This defenseman was plus 29 on the season. Now, you may say plus minus is a very misleading stat, and I would agree with you. But that plus 29 was amongst the best for a rookie defenseman in NHL history. If you're not impressed by that, I don't know what grabs your attention. Yes, it is a little bit of a misleading statistic, but it gives you an idea of the success the team has when Lindholm is on the ice. He made the transition from being a young star defenseman in the AHL, moving to a young defenseman in the NHL, look way too easy. Hampus Lindholm has a great two-way game and demonstrated that all season with the Anaheim Ducks as a part of their fantastic regular season. Number 5, the Winnipeg Jets' Jacob Trouba. He led all rookie defensemen in time on ice per game, as well as shorthanded time on ice per game. Trouba in his first year of the NHL was looked to be the star of the Jets' defense in his first year. Okay, especially when Paul Maurice moved in as head coach and Dustin Byfuglien made the move from defense to forward. Jacob Trouba, in a way, assumed the role of a number 1 or number 2 defenseman, which is something you do not see often, trusting a young defenseman that way, but he earned it with his play. He racked up 29 points as well. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Lightning's Tyler Johnson. Johnson's a gritty forward that doesn't have a lot of size, but he plays a fantastic two-way game. He's willing to get in on the forecheck, he's willing to contribute defensively, and he potted a great amount of points too. He tied for the most goals among rookies, 24. He was tied with Nathan MacKinnon. Now, Tyler Johnson was undrafted, and he's 23 years old now. But in his first year of the National Hockey League, he was a star for the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that was without their superstar, Steven Stamkos, and traded away Marty St. Louis, their veteran presence and face of the franchise for years. Tyler Johnson, and a friend of his who's coming up later, really helped the Lightning succeed in their first year in the NHL. But more on Johnson's teammate in a little bit. Let's move on to the top 3. In my opinion, the last player who should be earning a nomination for the Calder Trophy is the Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman Olli Maatta. Maatta demonstrated tremendous poise with the puck all season in a quality ice time minutes during the Pittsburgh Penguins' injury-plagued season. Defensemen were going down left and right for the Penguins, and Maatta only 19 better in increased minutes. Maatta ended up being slotted in a pairing with Matt Niskanen, who had a career year for him, and much of Matt Niskanen's success can be attributed to the play of a 19-year-old in Olli Maatta. Maatta didn't rack up a great number of points, but what he did do was prove himself to be a tremendously efficient puck mover, in addition to being great in his own end, something the Penguins desperately needed. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning forward Ondrej Palat. Ondrej Palat was drafted in the 7th round in 2011, just the 4th last pick of the draft, and he was an overager in that year. It was his last year of eligibility. So Ondrej Palat was 4 picks away from being an undrafted free agent, trying to scrounge up some kind of job in the NHL. But here's what he did end up with. In his first year in the NHL, he led all rookies with a plus 32 rating and earned 59 points, which was second among all defensemen, and also the most among anyone who finished the season in a Tampa Bay Lightning uniform. Going into the playoffs, a rookie led the Tampa Bay Lightning in points. That's a team that was the 2nd seed in the Atlantic Division. Rookie led the team in points going into the playoffs. The kid's got skill. The kid's got a good brain for the game. Ondrej Palat was a great player, but not good enough to be at number 1. In first place, we have the Colorado Avalanche forward, Nathan MacKinnon. MacKinnon demonstrated everything that you could want in a player at the National Hockey League level, and he's only 18 years old. MacKinnon showed speed, skill, grit, smarts. Like I said, anything you could want in a player, which landed him with 63 points, 39 assists, and 24 goals. 63 points is an 18-year-old playing amongst men, grown men. Not to mention, he sustained that kind of production. You have to keep in mind when you talk about some of these young guys, some of these guys are rookies that are 23, 24, 22. When these 18, 19-year-olds come in, they have to deal with so much more physically. Not only is this the toughest schedule they've had to play against and the toughest amount of competition, but what about the time in the gym? Okay? Most teams do post-game workouts after every game. Off days, you go practice? Well, not so much. Then you got to go to the gym, too. These are 18, 19-year-olds that have never had this kind of grueling physical task put in front of them. And Nathan MacKinnon put up 63 points while putting up with all of it. Did not slow down, and now he's dominating the postseason as well. Now, the postseason does not come into play with Calder voting, but Nathan MacKinnon is showing why he deserves, without a doubt, to win the Rookie of the Year award for the 2014 NHL season. Now that's our top 10. Once again, we'll go in descending order really quick. First place, we had Nathan MacKinnon, followed by Andre Palat and Ole Mata. Fourth place, Tyler Johnson. Fifth place, Jacob Trouba. Sixth place, the Anaheim Ducks defenseman Hampus Lindholm. Seventh place, Sean Monahan. Torrey Krug, Seth Jones, and Nick Bjugstad rounding out the bottom three of the top 10. We might as well just quickly list for you the rest of the top 30, the remaining 20 players. At 11, we have goaltender Frederik Andersen. In 12th place, we have Tomas Hertl. Tomas Hertl, a great offensive talent, hurt by injury. His season was cut short, but he was an electrifying talent at the start of the year. Followed by Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets, another guy. Took a while to get acquainted to the NHL game, but once he got hot, he was absolutely incendiary. But once again, season was cut short to injury, which drops him down a few pegs on our rankings. 14, the Dallas Stars' Valery Nichushkin. 15, defenseman Eric Jelena, power play specialist, racked up a ton of points. 16, defenseman Danny DeKeyser of the Detroit Red Wings. 17, Buffalo Sabres forward Zemgus Girgensons. 18, Florida Panthers forward Alexander Barkov. Sasha Barkov, another guy whose season was cut short by injury, unfortunately. Number 19 on our list, forward Alex Chiasson of the Dallas Stars. In 20th place, we have Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman Radko Gudas. And then rounding out the bottom 10, Rangers forward Chris Kreider at 21st. A lot of people think we have him too low, but he ended up in the coach's doghouse for a couple of different reasons and was really inconsistent in his scoring. A lot of people would say he scored too many points to be this low on the list, but let's face it, Chris Kreider had far from a perfect season, especially in comparison to how well some of these other players played. 22nd, Boone Jenner of the Columbus Blue Jackets. 23rd, Luke Glendening of the Detroit Red Wings. 24th, the San Jose Sharks' Matt Nieto. 25th, the Toronto Maple Leaf Morgan Riley. 26th, goaltender Eddie Lack of the Vancouver Canucks. Had a great start to the season as a backup, but once they traded Roberto Luongo, his play dipped significantly in the role of a starter. Didn't help he had a not-so-great team playing in front of him, but Lack really hurt himself in these rankings towards the end of the year. And 27th, Calgary Flames' Joe Colborne. And 28th, goaltender Martin Jones led all rookie goaltenders in basically every major statistical category, but just didn't get enough starts. He was only in goal for 18 starts, which is much less than Eddie Lack or Frederik Andersen racked up. And then 29th, LA Kings forward Tyler Toffoli. And in 30th, the Carolina Hurricanes' Elias Lindholm. That's all we have for you. You can check things out on the blog, the link to the page with the rankings, and every player has a blurb next to him, similar to how I just explained everything to you. Every player has a short description of why he deserves to be in his spot and a little bit about his game. You can follow the link in the description to the page. Until the Calder Trophy nominees are nominated, this is the Calder Crush, and I'm Nick Hart.